all radio stations are equal. One stands above the rest.
We bring the right flow to God's own state.
94.9 FM. It's 6:45.
Keeping you in touch with the latest happenings. Around the globe. This is Flow News and Time. Balanced, verified, and straight to the point. Flow News and Time.
It's Tuesday, the second official workday of the week. Today is the 21st of January 2020. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on our first major news bulletin for today. It is Flow News at Dawn on Flow 94.9 FM. My name is Michael Oni. The headlines. Federal government seeks UK assistance in anti-corruption war. Defection looms as Imo Assembly resumes today. Private school operator blames Abia State Minister of Education for prevalence of substandard schools. And on the foreign scene, new China virus claims fourth victim. The details shortly. We begin this morning with governance, as the federal government is seeking the help of the United Kingdom in the anti-corruption war. President Muhammadu Buhari, who made this call during a meeting with the British Prime Minister, Mr. Boris Johnson, in London on Monday, said UK's assistance was needed in the investigation of fugitives escaping from Nigeria and finding places to hide in the UK. The two leaders met on the sidelines of the UK Africa Investment Summit 2020, which opened in London yesterday. Buhari told Johnson that the National Crime Agency for the UK, the equivalent of the Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, could help Nigeria with the investigations into the cases involving fugitives.
A relationship that benefits us all and makes a lasting difference. And the same is true of the UK government's £53 million investment at the port of Mombasa, a serious, commercially minded development like many other of our overseas investments in Africa. But rather than being arranged on extraordinarily one-sided terms and delivered by a vast imported workforce.
Meanwhile, some governors who are participating at the ongoing UK Africa Investment Summit 2020 have highlighted investment opportunities from the global event. Speaking on the sideline of the summit, Governors Okezie Ikpeazu, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as well as Dapo Abiodun of Abia, Lagos, and Ogun, shared their experience.
I'm particularly thrilled by the Prime Minister's speech. He clearly made it open that there are opportunities for investment in Africa, as well as opportunities for balance of trade between UK and Africa.
Realize that whilst all fingers are not equal, some are actually just taller than the others. And he had actually also said that there's really no exclusivity anywhere.
If we're able to bring in investors, more investors, it will lead to the economic development of the state. When there's economic development, it will translate to individual prosperity.
Away from the UK story now, the Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace has said that Operation Amotekun would help to address the issue of insecurity and criminality in the Southwest. The co-chair of the Executive Council, Bishop Sunday Onoha, said the security situation had improved tremendously compared to last year, but called on the government to ensure the release of Leah Sharibu and other Boko Haram captives.
We continue to call on government to do everything possible to ensure that Leah is released unconditionally. Every person has a right to his fate, has a right to who or she wants to be. Therefore, government has what it takes to free her. She should be freed from the hands of those who are holding her captives.
And now to court matters. Simon Lalong and Bala Mohammed remain the governors of Plateau and Bauchi states as the Supreme Court has dismissed the appeals challenging the election victory last year. In a unanimous judgment for Plateau State, the panel held that Jeremiah Hussaini of the People's Democratic Party failed to prove that the election was not properly conducted. That of Bauchi State was dismissed for lacking in merit, with the court saying Abubakar Mohammed of the All Progressives Congress failed to prove his case. Earlier, the court affirmed the elections of Abdullahi Ganduje and Aminu Tambuwal of Kano and Sokoto states, and the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party. The Governor Ganduje, in reaction, invited members of the opposition to join hands in rebuilding the state. And now, members of the People's Democratic Party yesterday protested in Abuja and London, the United Kingdom, against the judgment of the Supreme Court on the 2019 Imo State governorship election. In Abuja, the PDP leaders and members who wore black attires started the protest from the PDP complex in Maitama, popularly called the Legacy House, en route to the Supreme Court complex. The protesters included the PDP national chairman, Uche Secondus, the 2019 vice presidential candidate of the party, Peter Obi, and the Senate minority leader, Enyinaya Abaribe, among others.
What happened in Imo State is enough to kill our democracy. Please save this country. Let us ensure that judiciary becomes the last hope of the common man by doing what is right. I appeal to BC. Please do not kill this democracy.
All we are seeking today is for our very highly respected jurists all over at the highest court of the land. We are not against you, and all we are seeking for is for you to review this error.
And now, in neighboring Imo State, the lawmakers at the State House of Assembly will today resume from their one-month Christmas and New Year break. The lawmakers had on December 24 adjourned till January 21 after passing into law the 2020 budget estimate presented by Emeka Ihedioha, who has now been sacked by the Supreme Court as the governor of the state. As the lawmakers resume today, there are strong indications that majority of the lawmakers will defect to the All Progressives Congress to align them with the new government in the state and to help the new governor to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people of the state. The APC currently has one lawmaker in the State House of Assembly, while the PDP has the majority of 17 lawmakers, with the Action Alliance and the All Progressive Grand Alliance having the remaining lawmakers. And now back home in Abia State, as public schools in the state resumed yesterday for academic activities, the state government has defended its actions against substandard private school operators. The Commissioner for Education, Dr. Kalenechi Nwangwa, who was a guest on Flow FM's interactive program, The Platform, said there would not be room for illegality.
I want a situation where our electoral system made our decisions of the court.
Apologies for that mix-up.
The number one criteria that is that you must have a school compound. Sites that will be conducive for learning, for children to develop in both the affective, the cognitive, and the psychomotor. The children not just only learning the classroom activities, be able to learn behavior manners. Like every morning when the children come, they should line up outside. These children, they are so restricted that you can't even see any best in them. No sports, no play, no handicraft. All those things are out. We want to bring them back because that's how it was when we went to school.
In his contribution, the former National Secretary of the Private School Operators, Enyi Habo, expressed support for government's move to sanitize the sector, but blamed the Minister of Education for the rot.
Everybody agrees with him that yes, things have gone wrong. Unfortunately, this thing didn't start this year. Over the years, the ministry also had watched helplessly as things went down the drain, and there's never a better time to start than now. This is a sector where people just come and start school without even going to the ministry to go and seek approval. And so when they start, after starting, they will now call ministry if they feel that they have something to offer. It doesn't happen like that in other places. You cannot start a hospital without going to government first to seek approval, even for the location of that hospital.
Former Second Vice President, Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Barrister Monday Ubani is advocating for a credible, free and fair electoral system with minimal judicial intervention. Speaking on Flow FM's audience interactive program, The Platform, in reaction to the wave of protest trailing Supreme Court judgment on Imo governorship election tussle, Ubani said the judiciary should have minimal role to play when the electoral framework is strengthened to prevent politicians from hijacking the system.
I want a situation where our electoral system, our decisions of the court will be a precedent that you cannot in any way, you can predict. We don't want to have this confusion in our legal jurisprudence, in our electoral system, where you cannot be able to say, based upon decided cases, that this is where this particular decision will go. We want an established legal precedent in our electoral case, in our electoral jurisprudence. There has been so much inconsistencies and Supreme Court not following this because also the politicians are probably invaded the judiciary and that is dangerous.
You're listening to our first major news bulletin for the day right here on Flow 94.9 FM. The news continues shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. To stay tuned.
You want some fun?
Yeah! Bring it on!
Let's blow your mind.
How about you grow and roll with Flow 94.9 FM? Omwahia.
Thank you very much for staying tuned. And now straight to business. Oil prices rose to their highest in more than a week yesterday after two large crude production bases in Libya began shutting down amid a military blockade, risking reducing crude flows from the OPEC member to a trickle. Two major oil fields in southwest Libya began shutting down after forces loyal to Khalifa Haftar closed a pipeline, potentially cutting national output to a fraction of its normal level, the National Oil Corporation said. And now, outside Nigeria, a fourth person in China has died from a new virus that has spread rapidly across the country as authorities confirm that it can be passed from person to person. 89-year-old man was the latest victim of the new strain of coronavirus, which causes a type of pneumonia. And also straight to sport now, Chelsea manager Frank Lampard has confirmed talks are ongoing for Victor Moses to move to a new club this month. Moses has been linked with a move to Italian club Inter Milan, where he will be reunited with his former coach at Chelsea, Antonio Conte. And our sports story wraps up this morning on our first major news bulletin for the day. Thanks for being with us. Join us at 6:45 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. every weekday for additional newscasts. This is Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. You can send your views or information to flowfmnews@gmail.com or visit www.flow949fm.com for more stories. This bulletin was edited by Precious Chima, supervised by Samson Eze. My name is Michael Oni. Coming up is the newspaper headline segment of the Morning Spies with Omotola Adeleke. Do have a wonderful day.
I know you want to touch that dial.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Let's play a little game. Let's play a little game. Fico to the left, just a little. No. Fico to the right, just a little more.
Money where we got you know go finish your problem.
Yes. You just tuned in to the better side of radio. This is Flow 94.9 FM. This is Flow 94.9 FM.
Can't touch this.
The flow of God's own state.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
It's the flow of God's own state. Up in the great city of Umuahia. How do you live your day without listening to the reading on Flow 94.9 FM? We've got the best in news, sports, and entertainment, and programs that will keep you going. Wherever you are, we got you. So keep listening to the music on Flow 94.9 FM. Flow 94.9 FM. We've got the feeling to make
It's 7 o'clock.
Newspaper review for new Chacha informate. You wanna waiting the support for inside Nigerian newspapers them, waiting the support for inside this country.
In other centers, I know every example is that what will happen for this side. Because what political party is dominate. I will not congratulate anybody for now. But I will tell people, I continue to shout that we Nigeria. May God bless you, Flow FM.
Always make sure say you should gum your ear put for Flow 94.9 FM Momo here. The flow of God's own state. 7 o'clock you don't like it conquer for Momo Ubobe.
Make you no forget to they talk your churchman segment to that one deal. Make you forfeit some your church or chosen for the newspaper tourists that we post that away.
No miss.
The views expressed by the guest and the public on this program are in no way the opinion of Flow 94.9 FM as a radio station. Thank you.
Flow 94.9 FM Omaya. Flow 94.9 FM Omaya.
Yes, so my better country people waiting there, pa. Alright, I need to wear a pana wish, but on top the normal level we be so don't show for inside this moment. Oh Bobby, now time for newspaper headlines on top Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. Oh Bobbylistic, on how we be say the matter, I want you this opportunity once again to take appreciate each and every one of now. Maybe so now check up on the bobo when we say they do anyhow. But we don't show now, we say we don't show be that nothing happen there. The man strong kakaraka. Alright, if you check your time, well, 2 minutes.